All right, bros. Think we're back up. Welcome to the stream, guys. What I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna turn on some music again. So hold on. Ooh, I actually don't have my speaker. Hold on. Give me 1 second. 1 second. All right, man. So we'll kind of wait for that to connect. Let's try to disconnect from here. How are you guys doing today, man? If anybody's watching. I don't know what you guys got going on. All right. We got the music playing. If anybody's in here, please let me know. Is the music too loud or is it just fine? Is the music like is it can you hear it too much in the background? All right, I'll no responses, so I guess I'll just have to go with it. All right, so you already know what the topic is gonna be. You've seen the title. Pretty much, I want to talk today about black muscle genetics, specifically African muscle genetics. And I mean, if you're familiar with my channel, you've known that I've talked about this multiple different times. And honestly, it's probably like, it's one of my favorite, and it's not a favorite, but it's like a talking point that I really like to come back to. Is this whole thing about like African muscle genetics and the whole kind of like the myths surrounding it, especially with this like dynamic between East and West Africans. But I mean, to put it in simple terms, and I do want to say this will be like this will be a short stream, just because I've just got off of work, and it's like 5 a.m. right now, so I'm literally running off of no sleep. But pretty much, if you're in the bodybuilding space, if you're in like these spaces where we talk about building muscle, whatever, that Africans and black people are just known for having good muscle genetics. It's like not even really like a controversial thing to say. People point at all of the NFL players, basketball players, and say these guys are clearly guys with good genetics. They're black people clearly have good genetics, and nobody really knows the exact reason behind it, except for when you get into the sort of like pseudo like science communities. And pretty much I remember there was like a few guys online who sort of broke it down, what is black genetics, but they were specifically referring to like West Africans in particular. And pretty much they explained this thing called fast twitch versus slow twitch muscles. And basically, what they were saying is that the reason why black people, Africans, have good muscle genetics is because they have fast twitch muscle genetics, which basically make it easier for you to, it makes it easier for you to build muscle, be more muscular, have more strength, and whatever. And that allows black people to excel in most sports. And to be fair, like there's a lot of truth to that. I've seen like the data both firsthand and like through the studies that black people definitely do have the fast twitch genes that most people around the world in fact like don't have. So I think it's really kind of interesting. Now, when it comes to like my history with this sort of statement, this whole type of like it's not even really a controversy. It's only really a controversy on my side of the internet with like me specifically because I adamantly disagree with the fact that East Africans have been excluded from this. And whenever people talk about these like muscle genetic advantages, they're usually talking like about it in the context of like West Africans, people of West African descent, West and Central African descent, are the ones with the blessed muscle genetics, the fast twitch muscles. And I disagree with it because I mean, there's like first hand experience, right? I've never always been like muscular. Even now, I still consider myself a little bit skinny, but I've always had like a decent amount of like muscle. My brother as well. He's someone who's very muscular, athletically built, and like the whole like basically the whole narrative I've been hearing is that like East Africans are supposed to be skinny. We are skinny. We generally have slow twitch muscles, and that's actually kind of been like pushed for like another narrative. If you guys are familiar with the Kenyan runners, I actually did a video on them not too long ago, about like a few months ago, where I was basically like breaking down what made Kenyan runners and Ethiopian runners, but mostly Kenyan, what makes them like so like excel so much. And you know, with this whole like fast twitch narrative that these West Africans are like muscular and powerful and strong, East Africans are slow twitch. This is why they are dominating, endurance sports, and why we're able to why East Africans are able to like do really well, specifically referring to Kenyans and Ethiopians, but they overgeneralized it to the East Africans as a whole. And like a few I think number one on that alone is already problematic, because I've kind of when I went into the video and I explained why Kenyan athletes especially are like dominating running, why exactly are they so good, like the basic answer at the end of it was, we simply just don't know. We don't know why Kenyan runners are super good, specifically the marathon long distance runner. It maybe has something to do with the running technique, but it's not so much a genetic factor as far as we do know. Like the genetics might help a little bit, but that's not really the determining factor. Because everybody was saying that everybody was saying that Kenyan athletes are slow twitch. That's why they are fast. That's why they are dominating endurance sports. But the thing is, like, it's kind of retarded, and the reason why it's retarded is because literally everybody else in the world is slow twitch outside of like Africans. Obviously, not everybody has like a vast generalization, but most of the world, a lot of the world, people with like Eurasian DNA, typically are slow twitch. And that's actually something that I kind of ran into and I found out when I read this study on like East versus West African muscle genetics. Pretty much there was like this big comparison. I'd probably kind of show you maybe. I don't know if I want to like go through the hassle of finding the study, but like in summary, like they basically explained what fast twitch gene is and how it works, and then they did like a huge like macro analysis on a bunch of different African populations. They took Nigerians, they took Kenyans, they also took they took Ethiopians, South Africans even, and pretty much what they found was that most Africans in general are fast twitch or have fast twitch related genes. And so like this is going to take more explaining. So whenever you look at like a gene, right, because the fast twitch is a gene, you know how like DNA has like different letters like A, T, C, G. So for a gene we call it a SNP, or it's called like a single nucleotide polymorphism, and usually these SNPs have like a SNP number, right? So you can look up like a SNP by its like SNP number, and that snip will have like a letter combination, whether that's A or TT or GG or CG or AG or whatever, right? There will be like a certain letter combination. I forgot the exact letter combination that it was that you needed to have for fast twitch. I think it was CC. On the study, they called it like something different. It was like X or something. But pretty much, there's like a fast twitch. There's like a letter that you get for like a fast twitch allele, right? Or for like a fast twitch letter, and then there's like slow twitch letters or non-fast twitch letters. Most Africans in general, including East Africans and Ethiopians as well, had at least one fast twitch letter. So that when you look at that in general, the conclusion they were basically able to come to, even just looking at the figure, was that most Africans in general have at least one fast twitch like variant, one fast twitch like gene, like when you look at their like snip. That's kind of like interesting to look at. That's kind of interesting because when I seen like the different populations, it really just kind of seemed like the main correlation that I was seeing was people who were more admixed with like Middle Eastern or like non-African DNA were usually the people with less fast twitch like letters than people who weren't. And Kenyans were like an interesting thing because when it also not only took a look at like the population overall, but it took a look at the athlete population and the general population. The general population for Kenya in comparison to Nigeria had more fast twitch people, or more people with like fast twitch variants, just a little bit more than even Nigeria. So that was like something that was really, really like that was really, really interesting. So all of these people like who've been in my comment section who've been saying, yeah, but on average, West Africans are fast twitch, take that, man. You know what I mean? Because yeah, bro, I mean, it kind of just shows you, obviously there was more when you looked at the athletes in their fast twitch genes variants. It was like a different story. They were a little bit more slow twitch on average, but I think something like that it kind of just show you how complex it really can be. It's not like so this is what I've been saying the whole time. It's not a one size fits all. And one of the main things that got me for myself, and I came out as fast twitch. I also tested another South Sudanese friend, and he came out as fast twitch as well. And I just kind of it just kind of made me think like maybe, especially now, like my general belief now is that if you are like black African descent, regardless whether you're West African or East African like me, you're more likely than not going to be fast twitch. Obviously, you're going to have some exceptions, right? Especially if you're like from an African ethnic group that has like, amounts of like North African and Middle Eastern admixture. It's going to be a bit of a different story. And there's still other things that kind of affect it, right? Things like altitude. That's one of the main things that I heard that have an effect on whether you come out as like fast twitch or slow twitch. So, there's a lot of interesting stuff. There's a lot of interesting stuff. And let me actually see if I can find the maybe if I can find like either the study or the diagram. It kind of showed what I was talking about. I might be lagging. Let me see. My internet's still connecting. My computer is pretty hot, so maybe it could be me. Just let me know. Am I still good now, or am I still lagging? I might have to look at the stream myself. Hold on. Um, yeah, I think I am lagging. All right. Yeah, I don't really know. I don't really know how I'm supposed to go about this. Apologies, guys. I'm still getting used to the streaming thing. I got like a new computer. I'm just waiting, saving up on like to buy like a monitor for it. So hopefully I won't have any of these like internet problems like within, like future streams once I get the monitor. And it's like cuz right now I'm streaming from like my laptop. So that might be the reason why like that might be the reason why I'm like yeah. Yeah, it's probably the best thing honestly would be to just I might have to restart the live cuz I think yeah, there's just I don't know if there's anything I can really do here. Apologies about this, guys.